Hey golfers, in my hand I have a hybrid and a 4-iron. If you struggle with your long irons, if you feel like you hit them all about the same distance, you can't really get it to launch up in the air very high, you struggle to hold greens with those longer irons, then you need to get rid of that long iron and you need a hybrid in your bag. It is a wonderful piece of technology that makes hitting the longer shots into the greens so much easier, and you can launch them higher, carry them further, and they're gonna hold the green. My name is Maggie Simons, but my friends call me Mags for short because I help them master a great swing. We are going to learn to love our hybrid, and we're gonna go through a couple of setup and swing tips that are gonna help you learn how to hit it and maximize your distance. I get asked all the time, how are you supposed to hit a hybrid? Are we supposed to hit it like a fairway would? Are we supposed to hit it like an iron? And I always say, these clubs are replacements for our longer irons. These are replacements for our 4-irons, our 3-irons, our 5-irons. And so we want to treat them as such and hit them in the same way. Meaning that just like an iron, we want to feel like we are going to have a downward strike on it. We want to feel like we're going to take a little bit of a divot. Now, we might not actually take a big divot because of the width of the sole, but we certainly want to feel like that we are going to take a little bit of a divot. We're also going to set up in the same fashion. We're going to set up with the same ball position, and we want to swing at it with some speed, because just like a 4-iron, we're trying to hit the ball pretty far down that fairway or onto the green. Let's jump right in on a few setup tips to how to set up to your hybrid. First thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our feet are about hip width apart or maybe slightly wider, just like we would set up to for a longer iron. Ball position wise, we're going to have it lining up just slightly forward of center and not too far forward. I find a lot of people that struggle have it too far forward like a driver or like a 3 wood, and that causes them to top it and not being able to get that more of that descending blow. So ball position just slightly forward of center. And I also like to see, because we're trying to have a downward strike, I like to see the handle of the club just slightly forward. Again, just like you should set up to an iron, starting with the handle slightly forward to encourage that downward strike on the golf ball, feeling that divot after the ball. And then our weight distribution, about 50-50. That's the way that I like to set up to the hybrid, and I find a lot of people have success. So we've got feet about hip width apart, maybe slightly wider, ball position slightly forward of center, weight distribution about 50-50, and we're gonna have a slight bit of handle lean at address. Once we get into the proper setup, now we need to focus on how to swing this club. And we're gonna swing it just like an iron, like I've said many times before in this video. As a drill, since most people that struggle with hitting a hybrid, and if you're watching this video, you obviously have a few questions as well, making sure that we have that downward strike, a great drill before you even put the golf ball there is just to take a tee, and we're gonna put that tee where the ball would be, so ball position slightly forward of center, and I'm gonna try to send that tee flying. I'm gonna try to strike that tee. That tee is so low to the ground that if I hit it, I know that when I put a golf ball there, that I'm gonna be hitting that golf ball really solid and taking what feels like a little bit of a divot. So I'm gonna try and send this tee flying, have that downward strike. And that tee went about 25 yards. Okay, so if a ball was there, I would have really liked that shot. Then you can bring the ball in, and if you struggle with hitting a hybrid, I would first just start with the ball on a low tee, kind of graduating from hitting just the tee. So now I have the ball on a really low tee, just like you would tee up an iron on a par 3. And I'm gonna focus on that goal being to try to clip that tee out of the ground. Again, the tee's underneath the golf ball, so if I can clip the tee, I'm not gonna struggle with topping it, and I know that that club is working down enough through the impact area for me to maximize this strike. So, ball's on a low tee, gonna try to clip the tee out of the ground. Really solid strike. You can see that the tee popped out of the ground. Then once you do that and you feel like you can hit the tee out consistently, then you can remove the tee and try hitting the ball straight off of the ground. Okay, so I've removed the tee. I'm gonna try to hit the ball straight off the ground, but I'm still gonna tell myself there's a tee there, and that's gonna, again, encourage me to have that downward strike so I can launch this ball high and far. I love it. I just absolutely love my hybrid. Okay, so now one other key that will help you launch this high and far and really take advantage of the technology is remembering that we need to have some speed. Speed is really the biggest thing that helps get the ball up in the air. And that combined with the forgiving technology, the hybrid, is where you're really gonna see some gains by switching to this club. So don't be afraid to add some speed to your swing. We're not trying to swing out of our shoes, but we can stay in balance, but feel like you're gonna give it a rip. I love it, so good. So we're gonna have the T-drill to help us with that downward strike. We're gonna add some speed, and you're gonna notice a huge difference when you go to your hybrid versus that long iron. So if you struggle with your long irons, I promise you, you will love a hybrid, especially now that you know how to hit it. That was just ripped. Okay, so I'm coming in close to the camera to speak to you skeptics who are still like, I don't need a hybrid. I'm gonna get 3 through pitching wedge. Y'all, why make the game harder than it is? Golf is hard. This technology is amazing. The pros are using it. Don't feel like that your ego is too big, that you need to have a 3-iron in your golf bag. It's not worth it. Unless you have crazy speed and are able to launch the ball at that optimal height to be able to carry the ball further than your previous club and get it to land on the green, then you should be using a hybrid. I promise. Now you're clear on how to hit a hybrid. We're gonna set up to it the same way that we do a long iron. We're gonna make sure that we have that descending strike on the golf ball, feeling like we're taking a little bit of a divot, and we're gonna have a little bit of speed. And we're gonna make sure that if we have a 3-iron in our bag or a 4-iron in our bag that we really don't hit that well, we're gonna take those away and we're gonna replace them with a lot easier to hit hybrid. If you would like more personalized one-on-one coaching with me, you can do so now through the Skillest app, and I have that link right down in the description below. I love the opportunity to work with people from across the world who I wouldn't otherwise be able to see here in Oregon. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe below. That way you won't miss out on any future content. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.